This is a series about brilliant innovations and design solutions from all over America. And there are just 2 spots left in our top 10 final.
We're chasing the big design idea, and we've already selected 8 design innovations from the season so far that have made it through to our best of the best top 10 final. So, just 2 spots remain.
Welcome to America by Design.
We've gathered a group of design industry leaders at the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco and, via Zoom, tasked with judging each innovation and selecting our finalists before ultimately crowning one design project the winning innovation of the season.
It is an incredible pleasure to be able to host the judging event here at Salesforce Tower in San Francisco.
I think this panel of judges is a really nice cross-section of different types of designers.
This judging panel is next level.
We've got industrial designers, UX designers, software designers, we have service designers and business designers too. You couldn't ask for more of a dream team than that.
Talented people who are changing the world through design.
The diversity of insights is really sort of blending together this amazing prism of conversation.
It makes us make sure that what we're bringing forward really will stand the test of great design.
Let's get started with our first innovation.
Outdoor fire pits are rarely objects of beauty, and they often produce a lot of smoke, and they're kind of a mess.
The Tiki Fire Pit provides a much better and complete user experience from start to finish.
It is like the Apple products of fire pits.
I really liked watching the designers that work in their studio as they study the behavior of fire.
It's designed fire. Wait till you see this clever innovation. It's quite special.
Does the world need another fire pit? Well, it needs a better one, and one that considers the entire experience and removes the pain points.
Besides smoke being the obvious one, we look all the way back to the store where a consumer has to lug a giant box off a shelf, fit it in their car. Then you get it home, you have it's usually flat packed, you have a ton of screws and loose pieces, all the way to lighting, cleanup, and storage. So there's a ton of them within the fire pit experience. We have a simple 2-piece design. Assembly is meant to take less than 5 minutes. If you know what you're doing, less than a few minutes, all the way to lighting. Developed a Easy Light wood pack, which with one match, you can get a fire going.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the first thing about starting a fire. What's in your hand there? What are you holding?
So the wood pack is actually just wood pellets, which are compressed sawdust that we get from various manufacturing waste, and they're just compressed into these pellets.
So you're basically taking them out of the waste stream then?
Correct, giving them a different purpose.
So Eric, they brought you this?
Yeah, this is essentially the technology within the Tiki Fire Pit.
So this is basically the engine then on the inside?
Yeah, this is the core of the product.
So what's your job then?
Our job was to make this a little bit more approachable for the consumer and find ways to make it a little bit more meaningful as a product. We're looking at the complete user experience, so everything from the unboxing all the way to the final burn.
And what is this piece? I'm so curious.
Yeah, we'll show you that later.
So this is how it arrives. And so right away, the design experience begins, I see. So you already have instructions, it looks like.
Receiving it and getting it out of the box, we want to make sure was really simple all the way to the end point of once you're using it.
So what is all this?
Yeah, so this is what comes in the pit. This is actually a cover to use if it's raining or you have this in storage to make sure it's protected when you're not using the fire pit. And then this is the wood pack that Andrew just told you about that has the pellets in it.
And the cone, so how does it work?
Well, I'll show you.
So you're just lighting the pack, just the corners?
Yep. The best part is you know it's going to work every time. As soon as you have this lit.
And it's supposed to last for 30 minutes?
Yeah, I can come out at the end of a workday and have a 30-minute fire and just kind of unwind and relax without having to go through all the hassle of logs and kindling, splitting wood, finding wood if you don't have it. So as the pack burns away, the pellets are starting to fall out. The cone that we put the pack on, that's helping distribute the pellets so that the fire goes all around the inside of this engine.
With this product, we had a few challenges with prototyping. So the traditional mock-up techniques that we use, we couldn't use because we had to design the fire itself. So we actually jumped into VR, which allowed us to walk around the product and scale it up and then also see what the fire would look like inside.
Can I try?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Oh my goodness. This is amazing. So I see the different heights of flames that you're trying out. So why is that so important?
The fire is actually the key focal point of the fire pit experience. So we wanted to make sure that we found ways to simulate it within a prototype.
Eric, I finally understand the cone now. And it's great. It adds to the very minimal aesthetic of it.
Anything else you notice about this fire?
Well, I noticed we're not coughing and choking because of the smoke this time.
Yeah, that's actually the core technology that the entire user experience was built around. So not only you're not getting that smoke, but all the other design features that really create the entire experience of the Tiki Fire Pit.
So often people think design is just about aesthetics. But as we've seen here, it's not just about the object, but it's about the entire process and all the touch points from start to finish that make something a well-designed object.
When I hear the word ergo in the name of any product, I'm a little bit skeptical as a designer, but this product is different.
They've taken this computerized knit process from the footwear industry and brought it into baby carriers.
Creating a breathable baby carrier that's more comfortable for the parent and for the baby.
The originality in it is the fact that it's rapid prototyped. So it's almost like manufacturing on demand in a way.
And by the way, it looks about as cool as an Italian Missoni sweater.
Here in Los Angeles, there's a company that's designing products for the most precious cargo in the world. Demetrius?
Yeah, Paul, welcome.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Tell me about Ergo Baby, please.
Ergo Baby, where do we start? Well, we're founded in Maui, about 14 years old, and we are the world's #1 baby carrier company.
And tell me, what's important when designing, say, a modern baby carrier?
So we focus on things like comfort, so ergonomics being key to that. Heat becomes a big issue, so breathability is super important. And then aesthetic, like you have to have something that is really appealing visually to parents all over the world. And last and certainly most importantly is bonding. I mean, at the end of the day, we are facilitating a bonding connection between someone who's wearing a child and their most precious cargo.
And is there a product that you're particularly proud of, or it exemplifies your design ethos?
We're super excited about it. It's our heirloom Forma-Knit carrier. It's done in an entirely different way. It's the first to market. It's totally different than anything that we've done before.
Well, let's check it out. Kevin, hi.
Hey, how's it going?
You have a product to show me.
I do. So we have the Ergo Baby Forma-Knit Heirloom Carrier.
Wow, I haven't seen anything quite like this.
And we got a lot of our inspiration from shoes, performance wear, yoga, those types of materials, because they're able to get this seamless, different textures and lightweight comfort. And we tried to adapt that to the carrier.
And how's it made? How's it constructed?
So you've heard of 3D printing, I assume?
I have, but not for knitted items.
So you take a design, a pattern, and then it is put into a computer, and then that is engineered to come out of the knitting machine. And we were able to engineer different textures, colors, shape.
And I should imagine that's a very useful design asset, because effectively this is a fashion item, I would suggest.
Yeah, it is. And so we tried to make something that was more unique and something a little more fashion forward. So we had an infinite palette of colors and how we were able to blend those and have this gradient texture kind of coming through.
It's actually an incredibly attractive garment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that you would conceivably wear.
Definitely.
Ali, you're a new mum.
I am.
I'm interested in comfort. Tell me how it feels.
I feel very comfortable wearing this carrier. My baby feels secure. It's also really breathable. I have a very hot little baby in hot Southern California, and it keeps us cool.
Rodney, how did you achieve this level of comfort?
Well, we do it through the knit. You can see that the shoulder straps are actually shaped and formed to the body. We also have the lumbar support, which has an added bonus of a zipper pocket. The carrier actually comes out of the bottom of the waist belt, which actually makes it a little bit more comfortable as well, in that when it comes up, you don't have a waistband that's digging into your body as well.
What does Iggy think?
Well, I can tell that it's comfortable for him because when I put him in, his body relaxes.
So you can see there's a good shape here that we've created. We're creating a little bit more of a bucket seat.
Yep.
And you can see some of that is through the shaping of the carrier. In doing this, what we're trying to achieve is make sure that the baby's not dangling, that the baby's actually seated, or what we call a squat spread position. Also, you can see the baby's back is not arching back at all. So all of these things that we've talked about, the stretchability, the breathability, all contribute to comfort. And I think you should try it on.
Me?
Yeah.
It works. It's comfortable, it's breathable, it feels secure, and the best part for me, it's made from sustainable materials and processes. Okay, time for a test drive.
Wait a minute, Paul, I think you forgot something.
Oh, of course, the baby. You're a cute little thing, aren't you? Eh? Aww.
IBM is proud to present the first ever Empower Award in partnership with America by Design. The Empower Award recognizes and celebrates diverse design teams and an approach to design that considers the needs, experiences, and aspirations of all possible users and audiences. The award will highlight standout projects that deliver innovative end products that are inclusive and accessible to all people.
All of us have the ability to tap into that designer toolkit and bring about change. And when we do, we're bringing forward the Great Society.
Up there on the top floor of the Salesforce Tower, the pressure is mounting. There are only 2 spots available from this episode in our top 10 final, and the judges need to decide. But time now for our next innovation.
I love working on everyday objects, and something as simple and humble as a measuring cup can be totally rethought.
Pam took something that's so simple and almost obvious and made it better.
They're just the kind of product that makes the sort of quotidian efforts of daily life much better.
Back when I was in design school, I had an instructor I was really impressed with because not only could he talk the talk, he could walk the walk. And by that I mean, he designed products for the real world. Well, here in Chicago, we have Pam, and she's the real deal too. So Pam, you're an educator here at Northwestern University. That's impressive.
I love it here. This shop is my happy place.
I mean, this place just screams creativity.
I've always loved machine shops, but exactly no one tells a smart girl to take more shop classes.
Yeah, if you take a shop class, they figure you can't hack calculus.
And you can hack both.
But we're not here today to talk about the school. You're a practicing industrial designer, and you have a great innovation to show us.
Can't wait to share it with you.
Pam, creative office, I love it in here. Now, you're fully vaxxed, right?
Yes, we would not be unmasked together if I weren't.
Yeah, I'm fully vaxxed as well. So, what do you got here?
So I set out to redesign measuring cups.
Measuring cups, what could you possibly bring to the world of measuring cups?
Well, I started wondering if you could make a half look like a half, inspired by a pie chart.
Your sketches, that notebook looks like Leonardo da Vinci's notebook. Now, yeah, when I look at these regular measuring cups, they're all circular and concentric. And the problem with that is when they're apart, I can't really tell the difference between this one and this one unless I read it.
Yeah, so the first was just really exploring the thinking, turning it into something 3D and volumetrically accurate, and handing it to users and saying, if there were measuring cups kind of sort of like this, would that be interesting to you? And
Right.
folks thought it was.
Yeah, and I see the progression as you moved from the initial prototype onto the second and third rounds. The handles are all split down the middle, and they get all wonky here. Yeah. And then as you progressed, you made all the handles align perfectly. Now I can see you're moving on to some measuring spoons, too.
Yes.
Well, so where's the finished product?
So visual measuring cups are right here.
Wow, I love the packaging. I see you moved away from the multiple colors in the same product and went to all clear.
Clear also allows you to see if it's full. So you're packing brown sugar in there, you know if it's fully packed.
Yeah, you can see into it easier. Now, what's this material? I love this material.
That's Triton. It's a USA-made resin by Eastman Company and holds up well in the dishwasher.
And it's food safe. No bad chemicals in there.
BPA free.
Yeah, it has a nice optical quality. I really like it.
Welcome to my home, Scott.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So, you know, what I really like about these, they're nice and low. Look at these, for example. They're almost twice as big. Try to get these in the drawer.
Right?
But these will fit right in the drawer, no problem.
That was on purpose. So can you do something for me? Scott, would you mind getting us a half a cup of flour?
All right. I get to actually use
level
these
it off,
things.
you know, like you would on a cooking show.
Right. I like how you can run the knife across the entire length of the product.
Yeah, why don't you try that with a regular measuring cup?
Okay, same thing. It's not as easy. It gets kind of caught up on that edge.
So now have a little fun. Just dump it on the counter.
Dump it right out? What are we, baking a pie?
Yeah, that's how you do it in a kitchen, right?
Oh yeah, look, now that I got a little flour on this actual marking here, wow, it stands out as if it's highlighted somehow. That's really cool. What a great detail. So you also have some spoons.
Yes, visual measuring spoons are just launched. Would you mind getting a teaspoon with the old-timey spoon of chili powder for us?
The kind my grandma used to use. Okay. All right, well that doesn't fit. Okay, there we go.
I like the mess. All right, how about trying it with a visual measuring spoon then?
Okay. And it's the same proportion, but it looks so much smaller.
Right, it's a teaspoon. Teaspoon's a teaspoon.
All the details that you've thought of make these products really user-friendly.
Yeah, and isn't that the whole point of design? Design is for people and the real lives they live.
Yeah, and you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Channeling Chicago architect Louis Sullivan, who coined the term form follows function, the visual measuring cups do just that through tangible, extremely satisfying innovation.
As a nation, this past year has shown us we need to think a lot more about inclusion in the workplace. This initiative by IBM looks at racial equity in the workplace and how to design for it.
Designing a culture is nothing but a win-win situation for both parties, and I think more companies need to do something like this.
I really commend their effort to talk the talk and walk the walk with equality for all employees.
When you're a large global organization like IBM, how do you go about redesigning your internal culture? Because when you're really big, it's difficult to change. But when you do, the impacts are far-reaching.
Welcome to Austin. This is the home of the Global IBM Design Program. And listen, I know on the show, America by Design, you work a lot with the physical products, and that's fantastic. I'd like to introduce you to the idea of user experience design. Before we get into all of that, though, let's go for a ride.
My first time in Austin, what did you want to show me about the city?
Well, first of all, it's a great city, but it is a city that has some fairly stark and obvious institutional racism passed down through legacy. Over your shoulder is the University of Texas. Just south of that, right behind you, there is the state capitol building, and downtown is 1 block south of that. So really we have education, state government, and the city center, access to finance right there.
Now I'm looking at the east side and it's totally different.
The reason why it's that way is in 1928, the city of Austin created a master plan. They designed a way to segregate black folks into what they called the Negro zone. And what that ended up doing is disenfranchising several generations of black families through redlining and other institutions.
It does illustrate how much design thinking shapes how we live and the experiences that we have, whether they be good or bad or...
That's right. I mean, whether you're a city planner designing the actual city one lives in, or whether you're designing software experiences, design is where the influence is. So at IBM, we're becoming introspective. And what is it that we can do to make a difference? And that's what racial equity in design is all about. And that's what we're working on today. Last May, we didn't know what to do. Felt a little hopeless, to be honest. And the clear consensus was we have to take action. We have a designer toolkit that can make a difference. We've got to do that now. We know that the number of black designers in the industry is way too low. 3% really, compared to the 13% black folks in the country, according to the federal census. And so, we know we've got a problem right there. And our community of black designers at IBM came together and made a commitment to understand that problem and take specific action. We knew we could impact the experience of black designers at IBM and across the industry. And so the idea is when we create this, and this is the important part, diverse and empowered teams, they can take on challenges like the very design of culture itself. In this case, it's the idea of being a black designer in a design team.
The experience doesn't happen when they start the job. It starts way before.
As a black designer, especially you're new coming in, how do I find a mentor, someone to help me through the process?
I think this is worth some validation, some user research, right? Yeah.
Raven, this is so interesting. What's a tangible thing that came out of all of this effort, collaboration?
Yeah, so one thing that we created and published was a field guide targeting design managers and team leads and people in positions of leadership. And mainly the goal, again, is to recruit, hire, retain, and even progress Black designers and ultimately all underrepresented racial minorities.
One thing we also created was our podcast called It's About Time. It's a great glimpse into the world of Black designers here at IBM.
Today we have Carrie Bond from America by Design, an industrial designer and a broadcaster. Thanks for being here with us.
Nigel, it's great to be here.
Our personas are Black creatives in the industry, but also it's geared for people who are really interested in helping and who want to better understand our experiences.
What's going on here is fantastic, but how do you scale it?
Well, in fact, Carrie, we've already begun doing so. Just last month, we hosted the conference, Black Design, Past, Present, and Future. And let me share with you a thought from one of our attendees. I've never seen so many impactful, truthful, delightful Black designers in one space. And let me tell you, it was epic. Y'all are making a community, a welcoming home for Black designers in the industry. So what does that really mean? That means that this project really doesn't shine. We don't get to innovation unless we have the citizen designer join us in this idea of pushing towards a redesign of the very culture we're involved in.
You know, Carrie, we have a real chance here to impact the entire design industry. This conference is an example of how we can build on this work of designing our very culture. And now that IBM can do it, we're sharing it with the world and asking others to join us.
In this series, we've introduced the Planet Innovation Bright Award. We reveal the winner of the Planet Innovation Bright Award in our final exclusive and extended online final right after this episode. Go to americabydesignTV.com.
Okay, I've got some really early thoughts and I've got some great candidates and I've got a really big decision to make by the next episode. Lucky me.
While the brainstorming collab continues, we're looking for the #1 innovation for the series.
To appreciate motion design, all you have to do is look back 15 years at what television looked like back then. It looked so primitive.
This falls into the graphic and digital design space. It's the future, and the future is now. We're surrounded with motion design.
This is Hayes Valley in San Francisco, one of the most creative neighborhoods in a creative city. There's the Opera House, the Jazz Center, and parks with public art installations. And behind all these unassuming doors, even more creative pursuits are happening as we speak. And here's one of those Hayes Valley creatives. Hi, Marty. What are you working on?
Well, some graphics that we do for films, as you can see, all moving.
Films? Iron Man?
Yeah, The Avengers, for example, is one of them. And we create all of those moving graphics.
Wow, so you're designing everything I see on screen here with these images and how it's moving across the screen. And how do you create that?
Let me actually show you. So we have After Effects, and you can see here lots of moving pieces on these designs. Then they need to be moving and doing all sorts of things. Sometimes we need to change the text on set. Maybe sometimes the directors want to change certain colors. You could actually change this here.
I could be the pesky director coming in over your shoulder. I want Iron Man to be blue today. So we'll go from yellow to blue.
And there you go. And then we still have all of the animation and the designs that we created. So Denise, let's see if you can spot the motion graphics in this scene.
Okay. It's a movie with actors. She's thinking. I mean, she's texting. Have I missed it?
So yeah, quite often motion design is invisible in these films. It's not all about flashy graphics. And this was the phone screen that you've seen there that we had to animate. Motion graphics these days are everywhere. Let me show you this project. One of the projects that we've been doing with Cadillac is this new display design.
So I actually feel like I'm sitting in the cockpit of the car. Is that what this is, a dashboard?
Yeah, that's right. Now we can see how the technologies that we invent for all of these films end up being now in real products. Real products now are getting crazier, even crazier to what you see in films. And it's a very exciting time for tech and all of the innovation that's happening there.
So here we are back at Parsons, huh? Your old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
So what did you do when you were here at Parsons?
I majored in communication design for masters,
That's how I landed at my current job at Salesforce.
Salesforce. Wow, great gig.
Thank you. Communication design, it's a mixture of graphic design, motion design, interaction design.
Seems like when most people talk about or think about motion design, we think of cartoons on Saturday morning. But how do you use motion in something like an app?
Yeah, absolutely. Like many social media apps have like button, and if you press like a confetti would come up or it will fill in so that you know that what your action is doing on the platform. And another example is infinite scrolling, that you can never reach the bottom as you're scrolling. So this one project that I've done called Finite Scroll App is to basically help you control your scroll to spend less time on social media.
Less time?
Less time, hopefully.
Can I actually interact with this? Do you have this on an app?
Yeah, absolutely. Here.
Here we go. Yep, we're scrolling. Oh. I see what you mean. So you get to the bottom and it feels like you've hit mud or something.
So the motion design is used to get you addicted, and my design is to prevent you from getting addicted to social media.
So I'm an assistant professor of communication design here and also direct the undergraduate communication design program. Motion graphics, motion design has become increasingly important for communication designers, simply because we live in an age of image, in an age of spectacle, really. And so motion really helps bring that additional layer of meaning to things that might otherwise have been static.
So David, here we are at Times Square. I see billboards everywhere, but what do you see when you look at this stuff?
I see motion. It's all I ever see. And it's always been to me the most interesting thing.
When you go about designing something like these giant billboards that are moving, what do you think about?
Well, I don't have those design skills, but I create the tools for people who are talented in that way. Motion is complicated. You have to deal with space and time. And so we tried to come up with the simplest set of blocks that you could combine. With a bunch of Lego blocks, you can build anything, right? Because you know how they fit together and you know how to fit together things to make something. So with After Effects, we wanted to build those tools, those blocks. Once you understand how it works, you can now create anything.
All designers aspire for their work to live outside of their laptops and in the real world. And with Adobe's Creative Cloud, you can plan in Illustrator, design in Photoshop, bring it to life with After Effects, and get them out of the bedroom and onto billboards, out into the real world.
Well, it's nearly time to announce which innovations from this episode will go through to our top 10 final, but first, a By Design International Spotlight.
We've come to Copenhagen, where bicycles are the center of everyday life, for health, transportation, and just for fun. So it's not surprising that one of the world's greatest bicycle design masters is from here. Hi, Martin.
Hey.
How many years have you been designing bicycles?
I've been designing bikes for 20-some years, and basically trying to outcompete cars by making beautiful bikes.
Yeah, and this is one of your new creations.
And this is my latest step at the car industry. And I've tried to outcompete cars with 4 different design principles. The first principle is making it durable, sturdy, and in this case we've used a full carbon fiber frame, which was actually a first in the industry and the lightest, and needs to be desirable like the competition. And we need to make it super simple, so it's easy to use. You just turn it on, or you put up the speed, turn down the speed. Also, the fact that it needs to look distinctive. You need to be able to tell it apart from other bikes.
It does look very distinctive.
The last one, which is a little bit more surprising maybe, is you need to make it look integrated. So we want to make it look like one collected piece of design. In this case, we've integrated the mud guards in the frame, which is a world first. And like there's a host of stuff that's basically tugged away and lean to make a holistic object.
So do you think you can compete with cars?
Definitely. Bikes are faster than cars in cities. You can hear the birds chirp. If you make an attractive design, you can make it more desirable than a car, and in that way you kind of lure people out of their cars.
It's quite a lovely ride, and I know that we could go a little faster than we are at this time.
We could go a lot faster.
Yeah. Kenneth, let's get down to the nuts and bolts and spokes of things.
All the Biomega bikes are handmade in Denmark.
I wasn't sure what to expect, but yes, it's a very manual process. And I see that all the parts are very well thought out and beautifully designed, each one.
All the parts for Biomega bikes are designed, developed, and manufactured by Biomega. We see it as one product, not a collection of individual parts, like the frame.
Yeah, it's very sculptural. It's beautiful.
Feel free to pick it up.
Sure, it does make for a very smooth ride. Oh, it's so light.
It's very light and it's very, very strong. It's made in carbon fiber and very durable.
Then the motor is placed in the frame?
The battery is placed inside the frame. The motor, let me show you. The engine is in the wheel.
Oh, is it the front wheel?
Correct, it's the front wheel.
Oh, and why is it in the front wheel?
One of the reasons is that it's easy to maintain. It takes only a few minutes to swap out the wheel and then you're on your way again if something happens.
And I imagine that the balance has something to do with this as well.
Absolutely, that has also something to do with it.
And how is it so silent? Is it the engine?
It's the motor, but it's also the rest of the bike. It's about quality.
Biomega Oko is pretty fabulous in Copenhagen, but how will it do in the streets of New York City? Emmanuel, what do you think?
Of course, there is room for the Biomega bicycles in New York City. As a matter of fact, I had the pleasure to product test those two bikes for a week, and I was totally blown away. It was amazing. It's like flying business versus flying economy.
What's your criteria in choosing product for MoMA Design Store?
So we ask ourselves the question, why MoMA? We look at materials, we look at innovation, we look at technology. And in this case, this is loaded with all of these things. So that was kind of a no-brainer. We were aware of Biomega. They had a big foray in the late 90s with the Mark Newson bike. And we were really thrilled to hear that they were coming to North America. And we were able to launch it at the MoMA Design Store.
It's very prestigious to launch at the MoMA Design Store.
Thank you, Eileen.
Shall we go for a ride?
Let's go for it.
It's incredibly smooth and silent, and it's effortless.
I know. I live on top of the park and ride a bike every day in the summer. And I had to tell you, sometimes I get to the office and I'm drenched. If I had one of these bikes, it's so easy and smooth, I know I would be totally fresh.
I'm using very, very little effort. In fact, I'm going to turn on the electric motor and speed ahead of you.
All right, let's see if I can catch up to you.
Okay. Ciao. Design is a global language, and Biomega proves that beauty, comfort, quality, and function translates to any market.
Hosted by Karim Rashid, our special extended final episode is exclusively online and free to view. And just by watching, you have the chance to win a Wacom Intuos Pro Small for design on the move. We're giving away 10 with a 1-year subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud ready to load.
And now it's time to reveal which 2 innovations from this episode will make it through to our top 10 final.
I'm not surprised that Designing a Culture has made it through to the finals. IBM is leading the way and helping to change corporate culture.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely thrilling that this project has made it through to the finals, and it can serve as a model for other organizations to do similar things. It's fantastic.
I love this project. It's a classical industrial design project where when you see the solution, it's obvious and you're like, how is that not the way they've been doing it forever?
I'm actually a little surprised that the measuring cups made it through to the final, but I'm really delighted. I think it makes the daily tasks of life a little bit better, and that's really the purpose of design.
Which design innovation from the series do you think should win? Vote for your favorite project in the Narmbe People's Choice Award. Just by casting your vote, you could win one of 3 designer homewares. Steve Cozzolino's Curvo wine rack, Karim Rashid's Morphic chip and dip, and Scott Henderson's chillable salad bowl with servers, all commissioned by Narmbe. Design your life. Go to americabydesigntv.com or scan the QR code on the screen and cast your vote in the Narmbe People's Choice Award. Good luck.
Congratulations to IBM's Designing a Culture and the Visual Measuring Cups. They managed to squeeze through to our final. We invite you to go directly to AmericaByDesignTV.com now, where we reveal the ultimate winner of America by Design.
For more information on any of the innovations featured and to cast your vote in the Narmbe People's Choice Award, go to AmericaByDesignTV.com.